Hi everyone, Vicky here, and welcome to Foods That Heal interview series, where we talk about how powerful food is and how to eat in order to live a healthier and longer life. So today we are going to discuss how to manage depression, anxiety, and insomnia with proper nutrition and self-care. And to do that, I have the privilege to have a pioneer in the holistic nutrition field, Dr. Ed Bauman. Hi, Dr. Bauman.
Hello. Hi, Vicky. Hi, everyone. It's great to be with you today.
Great to have you here. So Dr. Bauman is at the forefront, has been at the forefront of holistic health and nutrition renaissance for the past 40 years. He's the founder of Bauman College and the National Association of Nutrition Professionals. And more recently, Dr. Bauman has created a program called Lose the Blues, which help people manage their anxiety, depression, and insomnia. So once again, Dr. Bauman, welcome to Foods That
Hi.
Heal. And
Perfect.
before we go into the main topic, I just want to know how did you come up to create Bauman College, and when did you create Bauman College?
Okay, thank you. Education has always been my love and my passion. And close to 50 years ago, I left law school to study what I call natural law,
Okay.
the laws of nature and spirit and kind of progress in the world. So I moved to a farm and I was an organic farmer. And then started a Whole Foods restaurant early on, 1960s, early 70s. And
Wow.
then came to Berkeley and started a holistic health center, the Berkeley Holistic Health Center, where
Okay.
we worked with medical doctors, so psychiatrists and immunologists and acupuncturists, the whole integrative health model. I established 40 years ago and wrote a book called The Holistic Health Handbook. So at that point, I said, I think education and clinical practice go hand in hand, and food is really the nexus, it's the center point. So I began developing courses and programs in cooking. I love cooking. I'm
Nice.
about food. Nutrition is food. It's from the earth. It's not necessarily about products, which, you know, how it gets. So over time, I got a master's degree in education and a PhD in community health education, and then built this vocational training program that was
Wow.
based on eternal principles, not the food groups or the pyramid or the commercial model. Early in my life, I saw how flawed and fake the food program was that people were getting on TV or the dietitians were teaching in the school. In graduate school, I had quite an argument with my professors about food and real food. And so I just felt really compelled to teach and build educational programs and started a nonprofit. So the Bauman College is really a nonprofit with a mission to teach the world how to eat well and create a healthy life. So fortunately, we've been doing that for close to 30 years with classroom programs in nutrition and culinary arts, and also a beautiful online program now.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
and where is the college located?
So the physical plant is in California.
Okay.
Our main campus is in Berkeley, California. So there's UC Berkeley, and down the road, I call it UC Bauman. You come, you'll see Bauman. And we have a nice big building and two commercial kitchens where we do a lot of cooking and programs. And then we have an administrative center and classroom also in Sonoma County, which is where I live. In a little town near Petaluma. So we're Northern California based, but the online program is certainly available for all of that. And, you know, many people have benefited from the training and the professional understanding of the field. It's a complex field.
Right. It is really complex, but so fascinating at the same time.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So, and you decided to create a program specifically to deal with depression, anxiety, and insomnia called Lose the Blues. Can you tell me a little bit more about that program?
So this is an online program. So I
Okay.
think because everyone is, virtual these days,
Yes.
it's incredibly beautiful, accessible, and affordable. So it's
Okay.
only $37 for a 12-week course.
Oh,
And I
wow.
spend more than that going out to dinner with my wife. But
Yes.
my notion on this at the moment is to really teach what I know about the role of food and herbs and lifestyle and environment,
Okay.
and teach people about the gut-brain connection. We hear a lot
Mm.
about that now, that the neurotransmitters are also 90% are made in the gut. And if the gut has been disturbed from antibiotics or drugs or poor foods, the brain will not be well. And right now it's estimated a third to almost half of the population is dealing with intermittent or persistent depression and
Wow.
anxiety and insomnia. So I'm happy to share what I know and show some videos and some cooking demos and some in-depth articles, and also do some audios and slides for people to learn about taking care of themselves.
And let me ask you, is depression, anxiety, insomnia all related, or it can be
Yes,
someone can have just insomnia, just depression, and just anxiety?
it's a good question. Everything is related.
Hmm.
So if you scratch the surface of someone who has one, they often have the other.
Oh.
And it's not that everyone is dealing with them all the time, but if you're depressed, you get anxious. If you're anxious, you don't sleep. If you don't sleep, you cope
Mm.
in various ways, and people are looking for the perfect pill, even the
Right.
natural perfect pill, but it doesn't work that way.
No.
So really, explaining to people about food choices and how powerful they are.
Right.
So that's really meaningful to me, is to take some grassroots education, and then people do some assessments, and I have a research component to this to demonstrate efficacy in this holistic natural model. And if
Okay.
people are on drugs, that's possible. They may, with their doctor, stay on them, or they may alter them. It's not like,
Mm.
whoop, throw them in the trash right yet, but to really build a certain sense of health and strength that will help them lose the blues.
Okay. Good. And is the program addressed to only people who have depression, anxiety, or insomnia, or people who wants to prevent it, or people with other type of condition?
That's a really good question. I think anyone would benefit from it because there's so much good, solid, basic food education,
Mm.
lifestyle, environment, spiritual, really mindfulness practice.
Right.
So I think if someone said, no, I'm okay, but maybe I have a friend who's bummed out, right? I could
Mm.
learn. So I think it's just great general education that would be relevant, and even for children, because there's like under 6 years old, kids are on drugs. 1 million children in the US are on psychiatric drugs under a year old. That's like, and they
Yes.
probably had bad formula.
Yes. Yes.
So, I think I'm really glad you asked that question. I think it's a wonderful public education, personal and family program. And they have to do homework. If people have been to my school, they know I'm very big on homework.
Yes.
That it's not what I know, it's what you do.
Yes.
And you have to get a little bit active if it's going to make a difference, not what you think or you talk about, but what you put in
Exactly.
your mouth and how you move your body and how you think about your thoughts. Yeah.
Exactly. And how
Mhm.
does the program work? Do you, if I register for the program,
Yeah.
do I have to
Yeah.
do a pre-assessment and then I go
Yeah.
into the program?
Yeah, there's a questionnaire. It's not too long, 5-10
Okay.
minutes maybe. Yeah. And then you'll get an out, do it in the end, and then do it, follow up later, and we'll show some differences. And it's really looking at whether these changes in behaviors affect mood. And it's measurable. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
And does your program replace medication? And I'm asking
All right, wait a minute. Did you say meditation or medication?
medication.
I know. It doesn't replace meditation. That's important,
No.
okay? I'm just kidding you. But no, I mean it's not meant for that. But
It's
I also
complementary.
I consult with physicians and
Okay.
psychiatrists and all that. And it's, people many times are over medicated, but I say very clearly, don't make changes without physician support, please.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
it's very complementary to traditional medicine.
It is and it isn't.
Mhm.
It's primary healing,
Okay. Yes.
but it gets along with medicine. It's not oppositional.
Okay.
But I think allopathy is the last straw, and
Hmm.
diet is the first bite. You see what I
Okay.
mean?
Right.
So if people got this kind of knowledge and practice early in their life, they would be much healthier and perhaps not have the frequency and intensity of the problem that they have. Yeah.
Right. And
But
that,
language is important. Yeah.
yes. And that was leading me to my next question, because you talk about food and you're
Yes.
passionate about food, and I am too.
Yes.
I admit this. And
I see.
how I want to know how important is diet and food in managing depression, anxiety, and insomnia.
Well, I think in a deep way, it's essential.
Okay.
I don't know that medication has durable results in terms of overall health and vitality and all that. So I think it's essential. It may not be the only approach,
Mm-hmm.
because I think people may choose to do acupuncture or body work or physical therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy. So I think there's a lot of things that are of value that work well together. But
Yes.
my experience of 45 years now clinically is people who don't eat well don't get well. People who
Right.
don't eat well don't think well. And they don't, and think about aging as something about getting kind of run down. And
Mm-hmm.
people have secondary comorbidities, which is to say, oh, they have diabetes and they have cardiac and they have, all that stuff. So, no, the food is a vital part that's been ignored largely.
Yes.
And so we're bringing it back and making it, really a kind of a way people can get a grip and get some control over their
Right.
health. Yeah.
Right, because I always say you eat with your mouth, but what you put in your mouth affect your body, but also affect your mind and your brain. So
Yes.
people have to be very careful about that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so, what would you say for someone who is suffering from mood disorder? What would be the one food that you say avoid that when you do suffer from mood disorder?
All right. I'm going to give you a simple answer and a little bit more variation.
Okay.
So clearly, sugar
Okay.
is the key. Okay. But sugar could be cane sugar, or it could be high fructose corn syrup, which is even worse than cane sugar. And then the alternative of NutraSweet aspartames, not good.
Mm.
So the sugars and the sugar substitutes all are neurotoxic and all feed bad bacteria in the gut, particularly the sweeteners. Okay. And then I want to mention here alcohol, because alcohol is a sugar. All
Oh,
right.
yes.
And the link between alcohol and depression is really very direct. People who are drinkers are depressed. People who are depressed are drinkers.
Right.
So I'm not saying zero, but
Mm.
really watch it closely, and not one or two drinks a day, but one or two drinks a week or a month would be
Mm-hmm.
the guide. I'm not rigid. I'm just calling attention to these things, because when you do a story, a history, they go, yeah, I didn't feel well, so I drink to go to sleep, or I drink to deal with my anxiety, or and all that. Drinking is actually, you know, part of our culture, but it's not part of our health. Not to say the occasional or the high quality organic is a problem. It's not.
Okay.
Okay. So
So
a little complex.
the fruits contain a lot of sugar, but you're talking
Yes,
about refined sugar here, right?
absolutely. And
Okay.
fruit with skin is very good. So
Yes.
it's the skin that counts. It's the colorful pigmented phytonutrients in the skin that really makes the difference. Sure. So
Okay.
good quality organic fruit has value for people. It does lots of anti-inflammatory things, because people are also very inflamed when they're sick, or they're depressed, or dealing with stress or anxiety. And here we have post-traumatic stress now. So
Mm.
people cope with that, again, often with drugs, alcohol,
Yes.
and who knows what,
And
and bad food.
it feeds the problem as well. The more alcohol, the more depressed,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah. So I think that's important to call attention to.
Okay. And for all the maple syrup fan out there, I'm one of
Yeah,
them. Is maple
okay.
syrup, because maple syrup is natural. It's coming from a
It's fine.
tree, but
I
it's still
understand.
refined sugar, right?
No, not exactly. I mean,
Okay.
the point is this, okay? It's all that you eat. I created something called the Eating for Health model.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the backbone of the teaching programs. And I want to share that with people who are interested in learning more. Okay, that'll be our gift, is the Eating for Health approach. So
Okay.
that's really cool. And it's looking at the whole food plate, the whole meal plan, So a drip of maple syrup is not a problem. A maple
Mm.
syrup sweetened dessert with whole fruits and nuts and coconut, the maple's not a problem unless it's just saturated with sweetness.
Right.
So it's not a hard avoidance, it's consciousness, it's deliberation. People say, Dr. Bauman, moderation in all things. I go, no, you can be moderate in bad things. That's not good. It's not going to get you well. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
discernment. It's discernment. So.
Okay.
But maple is, on the whole, it has some minerals, it's got some food value, and it burns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
High five. Yeah.
And what would you say would be the one thing that you would recommend to
Yeah.
integrate into a diet to prevent a mood disorder or depression, anxiety, insomnia?
The one thing question is really a little bit tough.
Mm,
With the Eating for Health model, you look at what you're doing well and what you're not doing at all, and you look to build up what you're not doing well.
right.
So I would say probably fatty acids are very good. The brain is an organ that runs on fat and likes good quality fat. So if I had to make a simple, inexpensive, because I think cost is a reality for everyone,
Mm,
flax seeds or other seeds, flax, hemp, sesame, sunflower, pumpkin seeds. The seeds have great fats, some omega-3, which is limited in the food chain, omega-6, 7, 9s, and so forth. And they also, if it's a whole seed, if the ground up seed or a plumped up, cooked, hydrated, or, so forth, it's got protein, minerals, fibers as well.
mm,
So yeah, if the people are not into the flax, it's good as a blend in a blended drink, or it can be added to almost any other food. It's a very neutral, positive, healing food, and it increases the absorption of neurotransmitters, and it cools out inflammation in the gut.
oh, interesting.
How,
Thank
how
you.
about that? Yeah, good.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And do you have any piece of advice to the audience that you would like to share with the audience today?
Well, I'd say be hopeful, because we live in a rough world, and you look at the news and it's horrible and it's frightening and
Mm,
it's despairing. And I work a lot with teenagers. I think that's the key population right now. I mean, I work with seniors, I work with everybody, but it's how you build your own health and how you recreate your family system,
mm-hmm.
and you recreate your circle of friends who are doing the things you want to be doing, and how you build the experiences, and because this is not just a physical thing, there's all components to the holistic approach.
Right. And
Yeah.
it also starts, people forget, but it also starts with kids, because you have to teach
Yeah.
your kids how to eat properly so they can grow healthy and strong.
Well, we model it. What we do in our home is if we're out with somebody else, we remind them about, choices. But if as parents we're not leading the life and showing kids what it's like, it's not going to happen. And
Yes.
these tendencies are very common. People say, oh, I have a genetic tendency. My mom was unfortunately depressed and an alcoholic, and she
Mm,
died young.
yes.
And that motivated me to do what I'm doing today in her honor, because she was a beautiful being.
Mm. And
Yeah.
one thing too is, um, your mom was an alcoholic and depressed, but it doesn't mean that
Yes.
you will be an alcoholic and depressed
Well,
if you
that was
take.
that's the point I want to make
Yeah.
is really how we take care of ourselves determines how our genes express themselves.
Right.
You see? So that's why I know from firsthand example, when people make the switch into natural health, natural food, and build a connective, supportive community, they get well.
Right. So,
Yeah,
so thank you so much, Dr. Bowman.
of course.
It was very informative interview. You do have a free gift for the audience, so can you talk a little bit
Yes.
about the gift?
Well, I'd like to give them a hug, but that's a little difficult. Hugs, not drugs. So I'm sharing kind of the research on eating for health and whole food healing, and so that will be a PDF that they can get at edbowman.com, or they can go to bowmancollege.org, and there's eating for health content and charts on the college website. I really do encourage people to gain education and check the Bowman College programs. They're phenomenal.
So it's a 21-page guide?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's the Eating for Health report.
Okay. And then, but there's no
And that's
recipes.
published. It's published. Well, I could toss a few recipes
Okay.
up that way. Why not? Since you asked, it's a good idea. Thank you for reminding us. We can do that. Yeah,
All right.
I
So
guaranteed good recipes.
yes. So
Yeah, we
Dr.
have
Bowman,
something called the Flavors of Health. That's the cookbook I wrote with my colleague, Flavors of
Flavors
Health.
of Health. Oh wow, that's
Yeah, so
great.
that's available Amazon and other places and through the school. But I'll add a Flavors of Health, selection for this particular Foods That Heal audience. And I'm really thanking you, Vicki,
Thank
for
you.
making this go. It's
Thank
been a
you.
delight.
Thank you so much. It was a
Of
pleasure
course.
having you.
Nice.
And thank you everyone who's watching Foods That Heal. I hope you learned a lot like I did today. And don't forget, the free gift is in the email where you find this video. There's a link. You can just click on it and you'll have access to your free gift. So on that note, I wish you well, enjoy, and I'll see you next time.